Vinyl flooring install. I wasn't going to make a complete video of putting this vinyl floor in, but it took a long time. It took the better part of a day, and I was doing other stuff at the same time. My father was over here, so I was helping him do other stuff, but it took a lot longer than I thought. So I ordered this from Auto Carpets, and then so the box shows up and it's Auto Custom Carpets. So I'm presuming that Auto Custom Carpets makes it for Auto Carpets, or it's the same thing. I have no clue. So there's the part number. So when you go on to Auto Carpets, you press in your vehicle and 84 Chevrolet Crew Cab, and then it gives you an option of carpet, it gives you an option of vinyl, and it gives you an option of the color. And the second time I went to the website, it was difficult to get to the vinyl part. Okay, so the first problem is, excuse me, is this. This should go down and be attached underneath the sill. So I don't know whether they ran out of, they're at the last end of the material or what. So I'm going to call them up and see if I can get a rear piece. So the rear portion of this is non-issue. That went down like easy as could be. We still need to work it a little bit, maybe a little bit with the heat gun. Sorry. But when I first put this in here, I mean, it is thick, not very pliable stuff. So I trimmed along the firewall around the fuse box, and I still need to trim more off here because it seemed like every time I stuck this thing in here, it went, that's why it's all wrinkled up there, because I need to trim more off. It went farther and farther forward. And then I did not take the transfer case shifter out because I was impatient, and cut the X too far forward. So then when I went to put it down, the hole for the shifter was up here, visible underneath the trim piece. So I actually had to super glue a triangle piece, and I don't know if you can even see that, but it actually came out really well. And then I moved the plate and the boot ahead about, I don't know, about a ½ inch, 3/4 inch, just to cover up the edge there. So the second or third time I brought the vinyl out and laid it on the ground, the sun was shining down. So after like 2 minutes of the sun shining on it, it was a completely different, pliable, it felt even thinner material. And the wrinkles went out of it. And so I threw it inside the truck again. And man, literally within 30 seconds, the stuff was hardening and cooling back up. And it was 80 degrees out. So I took it in and out probably 3, maybe 4 times, trimmed it and worked it. And man, I pulled it, I pushed it, I tried to get it to go farther and farther forward, and that's the problem with the shifter. So there's indents here for your front seat mount. This is the wrong seat in here. That's why the bracket's over here. But your seat mounting bolt for a stock seat is right there. So that's what I use to line up the front portion of this. So you get this in the general vicinity, and your seat mount hole should be right there. So I got that in the right vicinity. I attached the shifter down over the top of the vinyl. I still need to trim up underneath the dash, like I said. And then I got my trim pieces, and I started with the front one and pulled this over and pulled this over. The kick panel still needs to be trimmed. And then you can see the screw hole from the bottom. So, and then I took my drill, I held it over the top here without drilling through my finger, and drilled a hole from the bottom side through the vinyl, and then put my sill plate down and screwed it into the vinyl, and then you can look underneath there and screw it into the hole. So then I took my second piece, this one is separate, and set it down on there. Or no, I didn't set it down on there. I got underneath. I drilled a hole just like before, because you can move this up because it's only loosely in there. Drill a hole in the vinyl, and then set this down over the top of it. Screwed the screw through the into the 2 screws and through the vinyl so you could see it, and then pick this up and lined it up with the hole underneath. Tighten it down loosely, and then went down to the back. Meanwhile, you are trimming, because there's probably 2 to 3 inches of extra vinyl, so you're being very careful to trim that so it doesn't impede with your sill plate, and obviously is not showing. It's too short, so the sill is not going over the top of it. So yeah, so just work your way down, trimming, and make sure like the centerpiece there that goes over the top of this, bring that in, make sure everything is being covered, and work your way back. The rear portion of the vinyl, it just laid right in there. There's no problem whatsoever. So, and then just work your way down. The seat attachment bolts, so you can see where the hole is right there. When you get down to here, I believe the fuel tank is covering that up. So, but you can actually feel the hole. So just take like a very small screwdriver or something, or an awl, and stick it through there, and then you know, draw a little circle around it. The front seat mounting, I had my wife put her hands on the carpet, not where I'm drilling, but just to hold it down, and you can get underneath it and drill very carefully through the hole as to not mess up the threads. So let's go over here and take a look at the way the rear piece is supposed to sit down onto the other portion. That is what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to go down inside there. So I worked my way all the way back on that side, or at least yeah. And then the other issue I had was that I made a mistake and cut this too short. So I took double-sided 3M tape that you would use for like your side moldings. Super sticky stuff. And don't buy it from the auto body place, because they want between $30 and $50 for a roll of that, and that is way too expensive. I ordered it off of Amazon. I believe it was less than $19 per roll, so it's still expensive. So anyway, yeah, so I put a strip of double-sided tape down on the floor, and then kind of stretch this over to get it so the kick panel is going to cover that. So I made a mistake with the transfer case and that, but all in all, the wrinkles should come out of it, and I'm fairly impressed with the outcome. I believe it was around $200 for the whole thing, and this is obviously a crew cab. So yeah, and then the jute backing, or what, not the jute backing, but the insulator that goes over the floor, it came with that. So I just put 3 strips of the double-sided tape, one on either side of the hump in the transmission tunnel, and then one in the center, and I just so it would stay in place once I put the flooring down on it. So you can pretty much get to all the holes, your seat belt holes, from the underside. You can see that. And so yeah, so I'm fairly impressed with this. It looks a hell of a lot better than the wore out stuff that was in here. So I'm going on to paint the door panels next. I'm going to paint one of the door panels and see how that looks. But what else? I think that's all. So that was the project for yesterday. Like I said, it took the better part of a day. I wrestled that thing. I was sweating, pushing, pulling, stretching. It was a bitch. It wasn't like putting carpet in. Carpet, you just kind of throw it in there and stretch it over this way, stretch it over that way, and do it up. But man, this stuff was, but it's worth it. I like the vinyl flooring. I like it. It's easy to clean, And I like the simplicity of it. I don't like a bunch of fluff. I don't like the power windows. I do like power steering. So if your truck is a two-wheel drive and automatic transmission, this job would be a hell of a lot easier, because you can just lay it in there, stretch it out, put it out in the sun, flop it back in there, trim it off. It would still take a lot longer than putting carpet in, but anyway, this has gone on for too long. Thanks for watching, and good luck.